Okay, we're live.
Okay, great.
Okay, you've tuned in to the Working Woman Report. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have another great conversation planned with you. And our main focus today is women in non-traditional careers. So we know that right now that women are reaching out all across industries looking for higher paying jobs that provides not only great wages, but also great benefits. And Department of Labor has identified top 10, and in that top 10 we have transportation, construction, IT careers. A lot of people say, well, why IT? Everybody's in IT. We're in a digital world. But there's single digits when we talk about the women that are in these particular industries. So we're going to have a great conversation today. We're going to provide some clear pathways and some opportunities, and hopefully share how more women can access these other industries and other opportunities, especially post-COVID. So we're so happy today to be talking with our guest, and I'm going to share a little bit with you. Let me bring her to the conversation. Hello, Miss Vera. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Ms. Jones, and thank you so much for having me on your show, The Working Woman Report.
Thank you so much. I was so excited because I've been pushing out and reaching out to all across Mississippi, trying to find women who are leading in construction and instruction and electrical and all those kind of trades. And so I was so happy to just luck up on you and your information. And then, of course, when I reached out to you, you agreed to come on our show. So I thank you so very, very much. I want to remind our audience again that the Working Woman Report is programming that spotlights the work of women throughout the state of Mississippi. Our goal is to help our citizens of Mississippi understand the impact of the work of women, not only to the state and our communities, but to the Mississippi economy. And today I'm excited to introduce to you Miss Vera Hall, and I want to share a little information about her because many of you may not, like me, was not aware that she was doing this fantastic work across the state of Mississippi. But she is the owner and managing member and principal of Innovative Performance Construction Company, LLC. Ms. Vera has completed the MDA Model Contractor Development Training. Vera is also a qualifier for the Mississippi State Board of Contractors, which makes her a licensed general contractor in the state of Mississippi. Vera specializes in marketing, sales, planning, project evaluations, operations management, and human resources, and she's been an independent contractor for over 4 years. Vera has over 11 years experience in the field of construction management, project management, and contracting. Vera oversees the entire operation on a daily basis, project management in the field and or site, and budget projects as it relates to material purchases, material usage, and inventory to stay within budget. Vera has managed employees and conducted training and staff development for employees. Innovative Performance Construction Company, a small business, was formed in 2011 with the expectation of growth and development. Ms. Vera started the construction company from her kitchen table and has grown the company from 1 employee to over 20 employees. She has strived for excellence and has maintained a stellar reputation in the construction industry.
Management and contracting. I'm trying to share. From her kitchen table and has grown the company from 1 employee to over 20 employees. Okay. I was trying to share. Sorry.
She has been invited to share her testimony at the Army Corps of Engineers Industry Day in Vicksburg and the SBA Mississippi Drive session in Jackson, Mississippi. She has been awarded the Mississippi Small Business Person of the Year for 2020, right in the midst of COVID, by the Mississippi District Small Business Administration. And in 2019, Vera received the Mississippi Development Authority PTAC Small Business Award. She is a graduate of Alcorn State University with a Bachelor's of Science and a Master's of Science, and Emory University Master of Divinity. Vera has done further study towards her doctorate at Louisiana State University, and she has an amazing daughter, Miss Christian Hale. Again, welcome to the show, Ms. Hall.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
As I stated, I was so excited to have this conversation because I think you and I have one thing in common, that we both are in non-traditional industries. Of course, I'm in transportation and trucking, and you, of course, in the major industry of construction. So it is a pleasure to be with you today. And I want to jump right into our conversation because we have a lot to talk about, a lot I want to talk about. Now, this fascination with construction happened with you in college. So talk to us about that and what was so fascinating about construction that you decided that this is something you wanted to take a look at.
Well, to be honest, I think it just fell in my lap some kind of way. But we were in a vocational ed class at Alcorn State University, and the professor at that time was Dr. Fluker. And we had to take that class because we were in agriculture. That was our major. And so we had a group of friends that were from our hometown that we all graduated from high school together. And so we were in the class, and he wanted us to work on a lawnmower. And I was like, I don't want to work on that. I do not want to work on a lawnmower. I want to do something else. And he was like, well, what do y'all want to do? Because it was almost like the women against the guys, to be honest. And so I said, well, I want to do a screen door. My grandmother's house needs a screen door. And so he was like, a screen door? What? So he said, okay. And so he told us what all we would need. And we began, because we had to buy our own materials. And so we began gathering the materials, and he showed us how to do it, how to put everything on an angle. And so after that, I started helping my brother with painting houses in the neighborhood, and because he was a painter by trade. And so I would do that for just spending money or gas money. And so years passed. I mean, literally, I had graduated from college, going on to other universities. And then I started working with another construction company because I ended up marrying a contractor. And then after that, the passion just ignited all over again, just wanting to see things revive.
And I think that's what I'm hearing from women, that not only in my industry, because when women come in this industry and the small numbers that we have and they become truck drivers, when they come back and I have a conversation with them, they talk about the empowerment of being able to build something, to be able to accomplish something that they didn't think they were going to be able to accomplish because they have always been limited in particular traditional roles for women. So they feel so empowered, and that empowerment leads them to be successful in other areas also. So let's talk a little bit about the clear pathways, because the women that are talking today, and if you have some questions, though, those who are already chiming in with us, if you have some questions, just put your questions in the chat and we'll be glad to ask of our guests. But I want to talk about now that you've been in this construction industry, you know what has sparked your particular interest in it. What type of knowledge or skills or talents do you think one needs to entering this industry? If you got somebody who is in college right now and they're looking at getting into this, or even if there are women out there that's looking to transition into another arena, what type of knowledge and skills and talents do you think that an individual need to be successful in this particular arena?
Well, to be honest, I think management, organization, and because you have to do a lot of scheduling and you have to do a lot of managing. And when you get the scheduling and the management down pat, then you can be able to do your operations, your budgets, and things of that nature. So if someone is in college now and is interested in construction, and there's a construction management course or anything that has to do with construction, I would highly recommend them to take it.
Oh, wow. That is very good information. And we know a lot of women also go into management careers in various things. So this might be an easy pivot for them because this field is wide open when it relates to women. Now, you, of course, took this vocational course while you were in college, and you learned these things and got your foot wet. What are some of the things right now when we look at our educational system and also the jobs that are opportunities that are available right now that no longer exist because of COVID? So many industries have shut down, manufacturing, distribution, and those kind of things. So people are looking for opportunities that's going to continue to provide them higher wages and great benefits. So is there some ports right now that we've on a policy level and a legislative level need to put in place so that individuals, both male and female, can get in this industry? You mentioned a vocational program. You know, a lot of times, you know, these vocational programs are no longer available in the high schools. What are some of the things that you think we, as a management body and leadership body, that we need to put in place for people to take advantage of these opportunities?
Oh, that's great. I didn't even think of that. But vocational education is very important because, like I said, he started us off with a lawnmower, you know, and we triggered him to say we want to do something else. And so we ended up doing a screen door. Not only did we do a screen door, we built floats for homecoming, you know, and things of that nature. And so when we think of that as far as economics and vocational ed, not only do we need machinery, but we do need those welders. We need those persons who, even on an excavator, sometimes the bucket, you know, can crack, you know, while you're on the job. We need a welder on the site to weld that bucket back because time is of essence. You know, like I said, we have a timeline when we have to complete those projects. Not only that, the supplies we need, you know, we may, even if we're building or renovating, we may need lumber. You know, we need someone to look at our drawings and say, by the square footage of this room, you need this amount of lumber on site. You know, we need someone to be able to tell us just by looking at your anchor bolt plan, you know, you need this many anchor bolts and this at this length. I mean, it's simple things like that can catch you off guard when you are planning or scheduling your projects. Because if you miss any of those things from being on the job and you have to wait 2 or 3 hours for someone to go to the store to get those things, that becomes a hassle, you know, and then people feel like, you know, they wasted time or they wasted 3 hours or time is of essence. And so definitely we have to get that management down pat and some vocational ed skills in place.
And when I hear you talk about all these particular things that's needed on site, even in our everyday, when we think about what's happening in our homes, we're already having to call on someone. I mean, these types of skills specifically around women, and there's a lot. We have a large single parent household in the state of Mississippi, so women need to even just learn these particular things. I just had some water damage at my home. The contractor's coming out today, and he's got to redo my floor and those kind of things. And he said to me that. I said, well, what kind of cost are we looking at? And he said, well, did you measure your floor? And I said, yeah, I measured my floor. He said, well, okay, you're going to need 200 square foot and for this kitchen. And so now you're able to figure out, you can go to Home Depot and figure out how many pieces of tile or planks or whatever that you're going to need. So these are not only things that we need to learn to create the workforce opportunities for ourselves, but also to be able to save money, to be able to know when a contractor is not yipping us, you know. And so this idea that you talked about with vocational training is huge. And I'm wondering why we ever took it out of our high schools. I know I went to vocational training back in my day, and we learned to sew. I took sewing classes. We did a blazer inside and out, and there was other things that we learned. And I've never forgotten that. I've used it over the years. Those skills that I learned in vocational education never left me. You know,
exactly.
And I guess, you know, if push come to shove, I could create a business if I had to put together a few items to sell, you know, on the curb or whatever. But this opportunity around vocational training, especially these jobs that Department of Labor has identified, transportation, trucking, construction, IT. And I say over and over again, IT, because when we think of IT, we think that field is open to everybody who wants to get in it. But it remains single digits when we come to the numbers. The percentage of women that are in those industries on a national level, we're still at single digits. So these are opportunities that women must look at. When I say must look at, even if you don't get into them, you must look at them. I talk to women all the time about transportation and trucking, and all the women who go and stick it out. And these are all serious jobs, by the way. So everybody can't be a construction person. Everybody can't be in trucking or transportation. But those who are willing to make the commitment, there is great rewards on the other side. Transformative rewards on the other side. So I just challenge women to look beyond your area. You step outside of the box. Don't let any opportunity get left by the wayside because somebody told you that this was a non-traditional job and that you should not be in it or you can't do it. Now let's talk about a little bit about some of the challenges you've had in this industry, Ms. Hall. But before we start that, let me step back and let you share also about exactly what you do at your business. Innovative Performance Construction Company is an actual construction company that you launched in 2011. Tell us about that company. What type of projects do your company work on? Tell us about your work here in the state of Mississippi.
Okay. Well, Innovative Performance Construction Company, we started our business with doing commercial renovations. We would do just dormitories at colleges and universities and things of that nature. And we'd do some flooring projects. But then we ended up applying for the 8A through the SBA, federal government SBA program. And so when we applied for that program, got accepted for that certification, we changed a little bit, but we still are doing commercial renovations, but we went into erosion control. And so erosion control and bank stabilization. And so we've been awarded several of those projects through the Army Corps of Engineers. And so also we started doing fencing, we started doing roofing, and we're also certified with Firestone to install roofs on commercial buildings. And so we just started, small, and then afterwards, just decided to branch out. A lot of people ask me, what is your specification or what's your specialty or what do you specialize in and things of that nature. And I have to tell them, whatever is going to get bread on the table. I cannot afford to have a specialty at this time. Yeah, I'm sorry. Because if they need some sludge removed, hey, your girl is here. Yeah. If they need some rock on the job, hey, your girl is here. They want some carpet clean. Hey, your girl is here. So I can't say that right now, but I can tell you, we tried some of everything.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I love that attitude that you got to do what you got to do. Exactly. And that's the wonderful thing about women. Whatever we do, we're going to do it well. Yeah. Exactly. And so that's what I love about the I want people to specifically women to think about this in very, very new ways. So I love what you're doing. Now that's a great jump off part for my conversation about the challenges that you have had in construction. And I have to say, I say construction, but even as a woman-owned business in this particular arena, talk about some of those challenges and how you've handled them and what type of attitude that you've had to have to make sure that you remain successful.
Ms. Jones, in this industry as a woman, you have to have thick skin. You're going to be a crybaby. You're going to be crying a whole lot of days because when I started out, I couldn't begin to tell you, even when going to banks, and asking for operating money or startup money, and then you're sitting there across the table from you or across the desk is a male, who's the vice president of that bank, and he says to you, "Oh, you don't do the work. It's men who are doing the work, Wow. So what do you need money for?" So you have to say, wow. Yeah. So, and then they go and ask questions like, well, who took the test for you? Like, I took my own test, really? So oh, well, somebody have to be helping you. What man in your life? Yeah. Who you going with? You know, those type of questions. And I mean, you have to keep, as my uncle used to say, you have to keep a poker face in the industry, or you're going to tell all your secrets on your face. So you just have to smile. Yeah. But those have been challenges, you know, where you're trying to get funding to go in, start a project, complete a project, or you're sidestepped. You know, you have subcontractors coming to your project, trying to tell you what you need to make, what your bottom line needs to be. You know, instead of giving me what is it going to take for you to do this particular work. You know, and so I've gotten it. You will be surprised at all the things that have come at me, and it just has been, you know what? It has been refreshing. Because it has opened my eyes, and it has allowed me to not be naive, and it has allowed me to understand. Now, I know, you know, a lot of, we have these stereotypes that think that women are slow, or, you know, they even have these little myths about blondies and all this kind of stuff. And they really believe, some men really believe that about us, about women, that we're slow or we can't catch on. And I don't try to prove myself in no form or fashion. That's how you think. When I get through with this job, you're going to see, and you're going to know. I don't even try to argue. I don't send you any certifications. I don't have time for that. My thing is, I'm going to do this job according to the scope of work. I'm going to complete it within budget, and I'm going to complete it on time. After that, give me my check. It's just that simple. Yeah. And so once we learn to have some thick skin, and once we learn who we are and believe in ourselves, because I think that's part of the problem. We have to believe in ourselves, because I had that problem. I didn't believe in myself because I had heard so many negative things, or had believed so many negative things. And then I had to get to myself, you know, in a corner to myself and say, you know what? That's not me. Right. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am smart. I am capable, and I can do this. And so, and that's to anybody who's listening, you can do it. It's just that you have to put aside your fears and get moving.
Right. And I say to a lot of women that I talk to, because that's one of the questions that I'm asked all the time, is how do I handle walking into a room where I'm usually the only female in the room. And I say look, and I even say to my grandkids, there is never an time that I'm having to make a presentation or stand in front of people where I don't get the butterflies in my stomach, where I don't have fear that when I walk in the room. But believe me, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to give my presentation. I'm going to share with you what I can do. And if it works for you, if you say, oh, wow, this is something that's going to help me transform my business, then I'm hoping that you're going to sign that contract with me, or you're going to enter in that partnership with me. So I think with a lot of women, don't walk in thinking, oh, I'm a woman. You walk in thinking, I got a product that this company needs. I can do this project better than any other person that they're going to bring to this particular table. And don't even think about the issue about being a woman, except for know that because you're a woman, that you can do it better, and you're going to do it well. And and have strength in standing in that because you're a woman. I get so excited. And many times when I'm saying my prayers, I say to the good Lord, thank you so much for making me a woman. And thank you so much for making me a black woman, you know, and all of that comes with that. And if you're a black woman, you know what comes with that. No matter what part of the country you came from, what color of black you are, whether light skin, dark skin, or whatever, there is power in being a woman. There are so many advantages of being a woman. And when I talk to you today, Miss Vera, you are a true example of all of that. And you speak it, and you walk it, and you talk it, and it is just amazing, the work that you do. So let's talk a little bit more about workforce. And if a person was thinking about getting into this industry, what would be the first pathways that they would look at? Let's say they have already went to college and they have a degree, but they may not be in these particular areas. But let's just say even that there is somebody who's been in the retail industry, like a lot of young women are, during COVID. A lot of them were working retail, or they might have been working at Dollar General and all of these other places, but a lot of these jobs have gone away. But they said, well, I want to get into construction because we know even on the entry level, there's good money to be made and good benefits to have. So what would be the pathway that they can get into this industry? What would you advise them to begin and start?
Well, I would definitely advise them to look through their contacts, because sometimes, and I didn't do this, well, I think I did, and I don't remember, but had I gone through my contacts and said, hey, do you know someone that may need some painting, because I need some past performance, or I need to have some experience on my capability statement. Had I just gone through my contacts and asked that question, I probably would be farther along. Because now that I go through my contacts, I'm like, oh my God, this one works for the federal government. That one works for Job Corps. That one works. Those were simple contacts that I could have just called and said, hey, what are you all doing on campus? You know, do y'all need the floors mopped? Do you need something painted? Do you need something pressure washed? Just going through your contacts. Say, hey, I'm thinking about doing construction. Is it anything that I can do on campus, or is it anything that I can do at your church, at your facility that you all wouldn't mind me doing? And you'll be surprised that some of the people, yes, come on, you know, we have this and this is in our budget. Sometimes they'll tell you what's in their budget. And the one thing that I used to be the campus minister at Alcorn. One of my board members, he was an electrician, and he was on the board. His name was Mr. Ellis. And I told him, I said, Mr. Ellis, I'm thinking I'm going to end up going into the construction industry. He said, well, you know what? I got some contacts that I could send your way. And I said, okay, sure. And but it didn't dawn. It didn't register, what he was trying to do. And so he said, but I changed the subject, and I said to him, what's a piece of advice you would give me? And he said, not to be greedy. Not to be greedy, and live within your means. And that's what I have taken to heart in this, because you can get greedy and get into corruption. You can get greedy and get into all kinds of trouble. But if you stay within and live within your means, God will make a way. God will make things possible. But afterwards, I didn't realize about the contacts until years later, that I should have said, oh, yes, give me the contacts, because I could have utilized those contacts, but I didn't understand it at the time. But contacts are very important.
Oh, wow. That's great advice. And I want to say to women, too, that just so you said, Ms. Vera, that sometimes your opportunity is right already in your lap. In the case that you say is right in your contact list. So women need to reach out. And there's a lot of other opportunities right now. We're getting ready to launch just a DIY class here at our Workforce Development Center, because we want women to just get their hands dirty. We want them to learn how to put in a light switch. We want to teach them how to, and I said, teach us, because I want to know how to do it too. Hang a door. I've got 2 doorknobs that are loose at my house right now. So how to put in a doorknob. These are basic things, but it's going to save you a lot of dollars. But our goal is to help people, specifically women, get a feel of what construction is all about. As you stated, there's a lot of management involved. You got to decide what materials that you need. How do you put in a toilet? How many times that we as women have heard that toilet ringing, and we call the plumber, and he comes and he's there 3 minutes to fix that little ringing in the toilet, and we pay him $150 for something that if we knew and took the time to be able to do. If we want to change out our toilet, now you have the high-rise toilets and that sits up so that you're much more comfortable when you're using the facilities. How do you put that in yourself? Do I need to turn the water on? All of those things we want to begin to have conversations with women about, and opportunities and classes with them about, so that at least they begin to look at it, start having dialogue about this, and then decide is something that they want to do. MCF, I want to give this information too, because I want to give clear pathways during our conversation and real information. And we don't want to just talk about these opportunities. We want to give folks access. Mississippi Construction Education Foundation has some apprenticeship programs where you can go to work in this industry, start at an entry level, and then go to class 1 day a week and to eventually get your certification. So reach out to MCEF, Mississippi Construction Education Foundation. There's opportunities available right now. They will walk you through that program. You can also call us here at DSC 601-351-5858, 601-351-5858, and we'll get you connected also if you're interested in construction. And not just women, we're talking about women today, but you got some young men out there that you need to engage into some careers that are going to pay some good money. Your young people, your young men, your young women who need opportunity, please reach out to us and these resources and make sure that they get access. We're trying to talk right now about possibly putting a program into JPS. I think we definitely need to bring vocational education back. We're doing a little bit on the CDC level, but very little. We need to really look at bringing this back in 2021 in a very, very big way. So now, Ms. Hall, what are some of the things, we're talking about all these pathways to get into the industry. You talked about your contact list. What about, what are you and your organization, or is there some specific things that you're doing to get more women in this industry and more individuals in this industry from your business standpoint?
Okay. The thing that we've started, first of all, in the office, that's all is here are women. We have an office full of women, but
I love that.
So the vision is there to start I wouldn't say a mentorship program, but it's a seminar where to help women get started in business. And I wanted to share also that, even in the federal government, you don't need a contractor's license in most federal contracts.
Wow.
Most of the contractors there do not have certificate of responsibilities, and a certificate of responsibility is a state contractor's license. And so a lot of people or a lot of contractors start off wanting to do federal work, but they think they need a certificate of responsibility, and they don't. And a lot of it is about contacts. It's about relationships, and they have to find that out the hard way. And so, but that's just a goal of yours to get your state board of contractors license, and then you'll be able to bid on state projects and things of that nature. But for the most part, it's just not needed. So, that has been a vision to start some type of monthly seminar program for women who would like to start a business, not just in construction, because I have several women that reach out and said they want to start construction and they want me to consult with them and things of that nature. And I told them, give me, a couple of weeks or give me a month or two to see what that looks like so that we can go ahead and get that started. But yes, that's definitely a vision on the vision board.
And women can start as something like painting. Now, many of us have painted our own bedrooms. We painted our own homes. And yes, we want, there's a tweak to that. I mean, everybody just cause you can pick up a brush and put paint in a brush in a bucket. You can't do it. But you can reach out to other painters that already been doing this for a long time and say, look, let me shadow you for a couple of weeks. Let me make sure that I understand how to hit my corners, how to mix paint. What colors make other colors? I just need to learn those things so that when I do a job, I can do it well, so that will lead to other opportunities. I would love to see women come together and start a painting business where, if there was a woman's organization out there doing painting, I can give them 5 leads right now in the next 30 minutes, and I will be on that list, okay? So we would love to see women when we call on a company, and when we open our doors, that what comes through in their boots and hats are women that look like us. Because we know that women, they see things the way we see things. You know, how we want that color of the bedroom, and how do we want to mix things and mix it up a bit. And that is great money. I always tell this story about, this happened a couple of years ago. I called someone out. I needed a living room area painted, and I think one other room. So I wanted to go ahead and get it done. I could have spent some time doing it myself or getting some help. And I called on a company, and they came in. I think I got it off one of those sites that has where you can go into a database or whatever. And the gentleman came out. He was very, very nice. And I showed him the 2 areas that I wanted painted. And he had his little clipboard, and he went around and took the measurements and everything. And he came back, and I said, because I'm thinking like, okay, when he comes back, he's going to give me an estimate, and we're going to schedule this thing. We're going to knock it out. So he comes back, and he said, okay, well, I'm going to call you back in about 24 to 48 hours with your estimate. And then maybe we'll be able to get somebody out within 2 weeks. I was like, no, first of all, I mean, this can't be the first job that you have. And you tell me you can't give me an estimate before you leave the building on 2 rooms? And then it was going to take another 2 weeks before someone could even come out to get started. So there's a lot of work out there to be done. You know, of course, I did not use that company. Matter of fact, my daughter ended up painting those 2 rooms for me, and she did a wonderful job. And matter of fact, that paint job still exists, and it looks great. But that's what I'm saying is we can start with opportunities like that. You reach out to companies like yourself. Women can reach out and say, what do I need to do? If you want to become a painting contractor, what do I need to know? Who do I need to see? Where do I need to start? What class I need to take? But there's a lot of opportunities out there. You talk about roofing. Roofing is a very lucrative business. And so I see crews come in all the time, and within 24 hours, they've gotten that roof up and done. So there's a lot of opportunities. Are there some other areas of construction that you think women can have easy access in, Ms. Hall?
Yes. Let's talk about some of the areas of construction in the federal arena. So under the IT umbrella, there's the security. And when we say security, we're talking about cyber. Like the federal government, they want someone to be able to put these protection walls on their computer systems or their software, or to generate some software where they could be protected. And there's just a lot in the federal government. They even have solicitations sometimes where they need book bags. Really? And then I know one solicitation I saw where they wanted someone to create them an emblem to go on some jackets for the soldiers. Some of them was, hey, we just need a vendor for some boots. We just need a vendor for belts. It's just sitting at the computer doing that type of thing, ordering for the federal government, sending them your invoice for whatever you did at the computer, and sending it off to them. I mean, they have a lot of things that women can do that doesn't require, a lot of manual labor. There's also not only the security, there's the computer, the security, the purchasing of supplies for them. They were looking for PPE gear. They were looking for masks. They were looking for hand sanitizer. We even had solicitation, and we bidded on it, but we were not we were not awarded this one. But they wanted us to build some parachute tables. And we found a guy in that state. It was in North Carolina. We found somebody in North Carolina who gave us a quote to build the parachute tables. We were about $300 difference from the lowest bidder. But there's just a lot out there. I mean, tons of things in which women can make money. And even when we do roofing projects, and one of our roofing projects, we hired her crew, and it was a Mexican crew. And then we saw a woman bringing food. You know, she was out there with a microwave, warming the plates up, passing them out. I'm like, who are you? She was like, they hired me to bring food. You know, it's whatever it takes, you know, to get the job done. That's what we do.
And many of these federal contracts also requires a certain number of minority participation. And when we say minority, we know women are included in that. And so there's a lot of opportunities out there. And also what success leads to success is conversations like the ones you and I are having today. We are both in non-traditional industries. We know what it feels like. We know where the doors are. We know what the windows that need to be open. So more conversations of us having these conversations together is going to help women not only provide the clear pathways to this particular success, but trying to identify where they may have their talent, skills, and their knowledge. I want to announce also Women for Progress, Women Business Networking group is relaunching this Sunday, January 31 at 5 p.m. by Zoom. We're going to be having these types of conversations. How do you achieve success? How do you take the women that are already in business? How do I expand my current capacity? As you stated, Ms. Vera, that you said that when people say, what's your specialty? You said you don't have the luxury of having a specialty. I do what you tell me what you need to get done. I'll let you know if I'm going to be able to do it or not. So we want to help women expand their current capacity. So right now in the midst of COVID, no matter what you're doing right now, we're getting ready to do an online CDL program that we have not done before. So there's a lot of opportunities. How do I take my product and services and expand it to make sure for sustainability? And so we're going to be having those conversations. Entrepreneurs who you're looking to do your own thing and you're not sure right now what that thing is. We want you to tune in with us on Sunday at 5 p.m. You do not have to be a member of Women for Progress to join this session. This is Sunday, coming Sunday, January 31 at 5 p.m. by Zoom. And if you want to get the link, you text 601-260-1848. 601-260-1848 or email us at mail at womenforprogress.net, mail at womenforprogress.net, and we will email you that link or text you that link for that session on Sunday. What we like about Sunday evening is 5 o'clock. We've been to church. We've got our good meal, Sunday meal going on. We're getting down to wind down a bit and get ready for the next week. So around 5 o'clock, I think, is a good time for us to sit and relax, put our feet up, get you a nice warm beverage, and then have this conversation. Make sure you bring your pen and pad to the table. Make sure that you bring your iPad or your iPhone if you want to use that also, because we're going to give you good information. This is an interactive session, so we want you to share your resources, your information, any helpful information that you want to share. This is going to be a dialogue to provide resources and conversation that lead to overall success for all of us. It doesn't matter if you've been in business for over 30 years, as I have, or if you just got in business a year ago or 2 years ago. This conversation is going to be helpful for you. So we're going to be doing a lot of great things around women's business networking. We got a lot of things on slate. We have a new director, Ms. Tanya Ware, who is just amazing, and who provides this leadership. We're going to be partnering with some other folks out there. We'll tell you a little bit about that on Sunday. So this is going to be a great opportunity for you to expand your opportunity. And Miss Vera, you got to tune in with us, okay?
All right. Okay, that's at 5. Yes, yeah. I will. Thank you.
I'll send you the link. We got to have you part of the conversation because you bring a lot to the table. And we love the way you bring it to the table because you put it in terms, you put it in news that we can use, okay?
Okay, well, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Now, look, gosh, my goodness, this hour is almost gone away, but I got a few more questions I want to try to get in to the conversation. Now, you, like many of mothers, in case grandmothers like myself, you have a young daughter, And what type of dialogue do you have with her about careers and what she in her particular territory, and how does she design her career and her future? Because you are this woman who have broken boundaries. What type of conversations are you having with her as a young woman?
Well, I'm always having conversations with her about money, learning how, number one, to count adequately, and not spending on the latest trends. You know, she loves stuff like Gucci socks and Michael Kors purses, crossbodies, and all that kind of stuff. And I have to have those conversations with her and say, look, you have to live. You know, those are designers. You know, those persons have made a lot of money, you know, in the fashion industry. But you being a buyer or recipient of that, that's not for now. Right. You know, this is not the season for that. Right. And so I'm always talking to her about saving, about managing, about budgeting, and just because you have $5 doesn't mean you spend $5. There's a thing called saving, you know, and so those are the type of conversations I try to have with her so that she will not get lost in the crowd and think that everything's supposed to be this fashion fair or this latest trend out there, because I'm not going to keep up with that.
Right. And that's what I'm seeing with a lot of our young women too, is because of social media and all of this stuff, they're looking at the big cars and the Mercedes-Benz and the big houses and all those kind of things. And look, if you can afford it and you got it to be going on and you work toward it, hey, wonderful. But I think also COVID has taught us too what really is important to us. And I mean, no, I'm learning definitely in the midst of pre and post COVID that I don't need what I thought I needed. You know, my world has gotten very, very small in the past year. You know, my space has gotten very, very small in the past year. So especially around clothes, and I mean, when I go to shopping these days, I don't even want to go outside my house shopping. I'm shopping in my closet. You know, earrings that I have gotten over the years that I didn't have, and it's like, oh my goodness, and clothes and things like that. So we're looking at things very, very different. And what I'm excited about that, Ms. Hall, is that it allows us as women to begin to work together in very different ways, because we don't have all of these hang-ups now that puts a wall in front of us that allows us to not work together. The type of clothes we wear, the labels that we wear, all those kind of things. We have just become women, you know.
Exactly.
And we have found that 98% of the time we have the same types of desires. We may not have the same desires, but we have the same types of desires, same goals. We all, in the end, want to live a good quality of life, not only for ourselves, but for those of our children. And we have also learning, I think one thing we're learning through this process is that we can do it, but we do it better when we do it together. And yeah, so I think that's what we're getting to today. Now, you have, of course, a relationship with Alcorn as a graduate. Are you doing any partnerships with Alcorn right now as a graduate of the university?
Well, business-wise, you know, I bid on their projects because they are a state institution. And so one of the projects that we were awarded is called the pea shelling facility. They have a pea farm in Mount Bayou, Mississippi. And so we were able to bid on that project, and we were a successful bidder on that project. We bidded on a couple of things for Alcorn, and we were successful with it. But the thing of it is, I guess I have not utilized my relationship with Alcorn, you know, in the area of construction, because I know that it's a state institution, and a lot of those things can create some type of friction or some type of collusion. So you have to be careful when dealing in that aspect. And so I try to maintain a good reputation and try to uphold some standards. And so I just try to do things by the book when it comes to my alma mater, you know. And so we'll start that project probably in April, May, because they've been having a lot of rain in Mount Bayou.
Yeah. And I'm gonna wrap up with this topic. Is you of course have received your Master's of Divinity degree, and it's obviously that you have a very good spiritual life, and that's been very, very important to your success. So talk about that, and how has that been crucial as you have moved through COVID-19 and still had success in your business?
Oh, wow. Just relying and trusting on God. You know, even when I would cry a lot of nights, you know, because I was living paycheck to paycheck. You know, I was calling the electric company for extensions on my electric bill. And so I relied on God a whole lot, you know, and to hear the enemy say to you, you're a failure. Mm-hmm. You're not going to make it, you know, you're going to die, you know, things of that nature. And to wake up and to say, no, you're a liar. Right. I'm going to live. And so to trust God and to be able to pray and to be able to fast and to rely on God through all of this. It is definitely a relationship. I definitely have a relationship with God. And so to be entangled with anything that will bring disgrace to God's name, I can't do that. You know, even, and I tell people when I'm at conferences or stuff, when you get those chill bumps on your arm, you don't need another sign. Chill out, sit down.
Yeah.
That's God saying, that ain't right.
Yeah.
Don't go down that path. I mean, just knowing, and I do have a call in my life. I'm an ordained elder in the United Methodist Church, but I've taken a leave. I was pastoring 2 churches, and as a woman as a clergy woman and in that ecclesia setting, it was difficult because I was not accepted. You know, I was judged, you know, my clothes, my heels, my handbags, things of that nature. It just became a problem. And so one day I just said to God, I said, you know what? If you're releasing me from this appointment, then show me and release me without any repercussions or backlash. And so when I walked away from those 2 churches, the door went wide open. And so there's, you know, so I value that and I hold that dear because I know that it was God, you know, and it was the favor of God, you know, and he uses people, he uses those contacts, he uses all of that. Or should I say God uses all of that so that we can continue to rely on God and so that we can continue to praise God's name and continue to bless God's name. And not only that, tithe, you know, and be a giver and be a doer of the word. So, yes, I have a call on my life and I am deeply in tune with God. God has certainly saved me from a whole lot of mishaps.
Yeah. And I say too also, and even in my personal life, I've learned that even more so, he's shown his glory through this COVID. And every day I jump up with a smile on my face and say, what are you going to work with me on today, Lord? How are you going to guide me? What path, what doorway are you going to open? And I think for women, we have to continue to say that to each other. When he works, is such glory. There's times when I am just blown away at the magnificence. I mean, I'm thinking,
God. Yes.
We think we can do something. You know how we women are. We think we can fix everything, but when we allow him to do it, it is so much bigger, and you're in awe that it just takes your breath away. You know,
it is so awesome. Yeah. During COVID, and I forgot to mention this, the staff was off because of the COVID. They was telling everybody not to work. And so as a member of ABC, and that's the Associated Builders Contractors Association, and I sent them an email and said, hey, I need to work. You know, send me one of them letters. that I'm an essential worker.
Yeah.
So they did. They sent me a letter so that I could, or whatever the tag was, you had to put in your windshield to say that you were an essential worker. And so while we were here, and I saw a solicitation come across for a MATOC with the Army Corps of Engineers. And so I started working on it during the entire COVID. And so after COVID, do you know I was one of the awards for that MATOC?
Wow.
So I just thank God, because I don't believe that I could have gotten it done if there had not been a COVID, because I'm rarely in one place for 1 hour. I'm all over the place. But for me to be in one place for 2 weeks straight to work on a proposal, that thing I think is worth like $45 million.
Wow.
So that's God. That has nothing to do with my own little simple mindedness.
Right.
That has to do with somebody who just favors us.
Right. And I want to, and I have to say as we wrap up too, that it doesn't mean that, I talked about how I wake up in the morning and I'm always excited. It doesn't mean that I don't have challenges days. It doesn't mean that when I look at the mirror some mornings I say, oh my goodness, I need to get back in bed and put my covers back over my head because I just got so much on my plate that I need to get accomplished. But I have so much faith in the day, in the sun that comes out. Because I know as soon as I open up that door and I see the sun is shining and I got that car that I can get in and get to work, let me just get there. And him to walk with me. So we have to continue as women to share and uplift each other and support each other, talk with each other, counsel each other. And I say all the time too, and I want to say it over and over again, I will not stop saying it. Because up until the past couple of years, I have not been this type of person, but I'm learning to be, is to ask for help. Ask for help. I have always been, my entire life, been the type of person is, if you had to ask somebody for help, that somehow you failed. And that's not the case. We all need help sometime. And we always need to help and reach out to people. Now, sometimes you got to be selective in who you ask folks for help for. Now, everybody that walking down the street, you can't stop them and ask them help. You got to be smart about it. But if you need help, there is somebody who is willing to help. If you want to call us at Women for Progress at 601-259-6770. I tell folks, we don't have all the answers. We're not a social service organization, but if you call us and you want some information, if we can't help you, we're going to point you to the person who can help you. And I think that's what we all have to do. We don't have answers. It is not all about money. It's not all about, well, I need to ask this person for $100. I need to ask this person for $500. But sometimes the information that I can share with you, it's valued more than $500.
Exactly.
It's valued more. This information is not only going to get you $500, it's going to give you $2,000. Okay, so it's not all about the money, but we have our information and resources that we must share with each other. We must be able to commune with each other. I love that word, commune with each other. And so I'm excited, Miss Vera, to have met you. I know we're going to do some work together. I just know. I am so glad to have met you, and you're more amazing than I could have even imagined. And our conversation has been amazing. Is there any information that you, or statement or word that you would like to share with the women that are listening right now?
Well, I just want to say that I'm Innovative Performance Construction Company. We do have a website. So, and then if you need to get in touch with me, all of the information is on the website. So the website is www.innovativeperformanceconstruction.com. And I just want you to believe in yourself, have faith, and remove fear. No doubt. So you can make it with God on your side, because I'm a believer now. I know God, you can do it with God's help.
Well, thank you so much. And I'm putting this website in the chat right now so that folks can go to
InnovativePerformanceConstruction.com.
Okay. All right. I got that. And we'll be continuing to sharing information And of course, you're gonna chime in on Sunday at 5.
Sunday at 5. So do I need to text you for the link?
Yeah, actually, I got your information, so I'm gonna send it to you. Send you the link as soon as we get off the call.
Okay.
So those who are listening right now and you didn't have your questions in place to ask, tune in Sunday, because Miss Vera Hall, who is a construction leader in the state of Mississippi, on all things construction, and even establishing your own business, whether it's construction or non-construction. Chime in on Sunday at 5 o'clock and ask the question and be part of the conversation. You've been tuned in now to the Working Woman Report. This has been a great conversation as usual. Every Wednesday from 12 to 1 p.m., the Working Woman Report is talking to dynamic women like Miss Vera Hall about the work that they do in all types of areas. If you'd like to be part of the Women for Progress organization, like to link your hands and your talents with us, we are a community service organization. We're not a sorority. We're not a social club. We do community service work to not only empower ourselves, but empower our communities, empower our state. So reach out to us on our website at womenforprogress.net, womenforprogress.net. Give us a call at 601-259-6770. And if you want to know about all the amazing programming that's going around Women for Progress Radio, go to womenforprogressradio.com, because we have a list of radio programming and podcasts that would just blow your mind with some incredible women from all walks of life in leadership roles, business, politics, in every area. So go to that site. We want you to continue, of course, to like our pages at Women for Progress MS. Like our page. Go to our Instagram, which is Women for Progress. Our Twitter, which is Women for Progress. All of that information is on our website. So stay tuned with us and make sure you put this date in your phone and in your calendar, so every Wednesday you can have this conversation with us. Because believe me, you're always going to be engaged with some conversation around women and the work that women do. Tune in tomorrow night at 5:30, the same station. Tomorrow night at 5:30, we have the Women for Progress radio show. And so it's every week at 5:30. So on Thursday. So tune in also tomorrow night and get this programming. Thank you so much again, Ms. Hall. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking with you on Sunday. It's been powerful.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
You all have a blessed day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay.